Good morning. It's 9 o'clock in Tuolumne County. Call the October 21st Board of Supervisors meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the pledge, and I would ask that Supervisor Gray would lead us.
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we've got 15 minutes for oral communication. Public may speak on any item that's not printed on the agenda. No action may be taken by the board. So if you'd like to speak, please come forward.
Good morning. Debbie Batista, Registrar of Voters, County Clerk, Auditor, Controller, and a few other things. We're getting close to Election Day. 2 weeks from today will be Election Day. Just wanted to remind everybody that the only early voting place in Tuolumne County is our elections office, which is downstairs. We've had voters come in. You can drop off your ballots, as Supervisor Hanfeld and Rotifer did, and we will give you the I vote stickers. We'll actually give you two, one to wear the day you drop off your ballot and one to wear on the 4th. If you want to vote and you're going to be out of town, this is the best place to come in and vote early so that your ballot can be counted. We'll also be opened on Saturday, November 1st from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock for anybody who finds out that on November 4th they're not going to be in town and they still want to vote. So remember that there's a lot of local elections. I think for the first time in my memory, we actually have 2 official writing candidates for Tuolumne County, so go onto the web page and find out who those are, if they haven't already told you. So please remember to vote. Get in your ballots early so that Tuesday night we can have a real indication of what the results are going to be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, members of the board. Ken Catano, Assessor Recorder. And about a month and a half ago, I came before you to ask for your support in providing matching funds if we were able to get a grant from the state to enhance the property tax system for the county. And last week, about Wednesday, I think it was, I received an email from the state saying, we received the grant. Tuolumne County So Tuolumne County was selected as one of the 9 counties in the state for this pilot program, and now we have to get busy and actually perform. And I'll be working with Craig on setting something up here so that we can get the ball rolling as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you again for your support.
You're welcome, and congratulations.
Congratulations.
Good morning. Duke York, Deputy Director in charge of CRA Roads Division. I have some good news. I was in communication with CVIN, who did the fiber optics line throughout Tuolumne County, and as of last Thursday, they fired up that line. It's energized on the main trunk line coming from Calaveras County and looping through the county. There's a couple little side lines that it's going to take them a little bit longer to get charged up, maybe a month and a half, but the main trunk line is energized and available for service.
Good news. Thank you, Duke. Any other public comment? Okay. At this time, we will move on, and could the clerk please read our consent calendar?
Minutes of the meeting held on September 9th and September 16th, 2014. Finding that a summary of ordinance number 3259 and 3260 were published. Approving amendment number 3 to the existing agreement with BMI Imaging Systems for the ongoing microfishing of recorded documents. Accepting the Tuolumne County 5-year Child Care Needs Assessment Report. approving the amendment to Conflict of Interest Code for Human Services Agency and Behavioral Health Department, approving the reappointment of Kristen Herrera as alternate to Holly Hutchins, Child Care Provider Representative to the Tuolumne County Local Child Care and Development Planning Council, accepting the resignation of Lauren Colum and Victoria Staggs from the Tuolumne County Youth Commission, directing the clerk to send letters of appreciation and post a notice of vacancy. Approving the reappointment of Lucy Morris Tyndall to the Tuolumne County Commission on Aging and declaring a vacancy of Blaine Franca, directing the clerk to send a letter of appreciation and post a notice of vacancy. And as the Tuolumne County Behavioral Health Housing Inc., approving the memorandum of understanding between Tuolumne County Behavioral Health Housing Inc. and the Tuolumne County Behavioral Health Department to administer property management and support services under the Mental Health Service Act Supportive Housing Program.
Thank you, Alicia. Would any board members like to pull an item?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to pull item 7.
Okay, item 7, any others? Can I get a motion excluding item 7?
Move on the consent calendar excluding item 7.
Second.
Motion second, any public comment? Call for the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Could the clerk please read item 7 again?
Consideration is accepting the resignation of Lauren Colum and Veronica Staggs from the Tuolumne County Youth Commission and directing the clerk to send a letter of appreciation, post notice of vacancies.
Thank you. Daniel?
Well, this is we have 2 youth commissioners who have resigned from Youth Commission. We're sending them letters of thanks for their service, and we have now 2 vacancies we need to fill in addition to the other 2 that were there were 3 that were already vacant. So we no longer have a quorum in the Youth Commission is what this means.
Okay, the reason I pulled this was 2, actually. Number 1, both of these ladies should be very strongly thanked for participating on the Youth Commission. For those of you that don't realize it, these kids do this on their own time, and most of them are very heavily committed in other extracurricular activities through school and community. So it's no small thing for them to volunteer to work on the commission. The Youth Commission has provided some important insight for the Board of Supervisors in the past. We are in a position where we do not have a quorum, and the second reason that I pulled the item was I want to make a strong appeal to the kids that are out there and their parents that might be willing to participate in this, because if we can't get some volunteers to help us out with this, then the Youth Commission will go by the wayside. And it is a very important aspect of our local government. It is an opportunity for kids to get involved in that local government, learn a little bit, hopefully a lot, about how local government works. So I'm just making that pitch, and I move to accept the resignations and direct the clerk of the Board of Supervisors to send letters of appreciation and post notices of vacancies.
Thank you. Randy?
Basically, this is, I'd like to add what Supervisor Rivers said. To qualify, I think it's high school down through some 8th graders, I guess?
I think we've had people in 7th and 8th grade before,
But
Daniel.
We really need these people, and it's a commitment by the parents. If we don't have the youth input, what are we missing? We're missing the future of our county. So I want to add to Supervisor Rotifer's plea. If you're out there and you have an interest in participating in government, learning a lot, I might add, and getting the youth input into the county supervisor's agenda and where we're going, this is a place to participate. So I encourage you to apply.
So is that a
With that, I'll
second?
second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any other- got a
Yeah,
comment?
just another comment. It might be a good idea to send a letter to the schools and let them know that we have some vacancies, and maybe they can get it out to the classes.
Sounds
Make it
good.
happen.
All right. Any public comment? Call for the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thanks, Daniel. Clerk, please read item 10.
Consideration of approving a certificate of recognition for Carol Colcord on her retirement as an eligibility worker in the Department of Social Services after 25 years of county service.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman Royce, members of the board, Ann Connolly, Human Services Agency Director. This morning, it is my distinct pleasure to honor Carol Colcord, an eligibility worker 3 with the Department of Social Services, on the occasion of her retirement from county service after 25 years. In June of 1989, Carol began her career with the county as a senior office assistant in animal control and subsequently promoted to operations supervisor. She worked there 6 years, then moving to Tuolumne General Hospital as an account clerk for 6 years. Fortunately for us, Carol found her calling helping Tuolumne County residents in need of food and medical care. She has been at the Department of Social Services for over 13 years, the last 9 as a lead eligibility worker, where she has excelled at training and mentoring new staff. Carol is dedicated to her work, helping to determine eligibility benefits for those community members in need. She has a particular soft spot for the elderly, working with Catholic Charities to help the elderly apply for and receive food assistance. Carol's also been our local subject matter expert in long-term Medi-Cal and has worked with a local caregivers group for many years. Here are just a few quotes I'd like to share that were written by members of that group. Quote, Carol's compassionate and expert way of sharing difficult and complex information on getting ready for Medi-Cal long-term care is a tremendous boon to local caregivers. For this group of people, the issues and decisions around placing a loved one in long-term care are among the hardest they will ever face. Carol's warmth and clarity makes the topic far more approachable and asking questions safe and easy. Her kindness, along with her competence, helps dispel the fear and mystery around the topic. We can't tell you how much we all appreciate Carol, her expertise, her clear, simple delivery, and her kind, concerned sharing of information. Her supervisor wrote of her, Carol embodies the traits we hope for in our experienced staff. Her work ethic, consideration of others, her determination to gain knowledge of the program she administers, and her willingness to accept responsibility for the duties she is assigned is admirable. Her excellent technical skills and customer service contributes to the agency meeting the needs of the public. What I know about Carol is this: she only knows one way to do eligibility, the correct way, ensuring regulations are followed and benefits are issued in a timely manner. What staff will miss most about Carol is her ever-present smile when walking down the hallway, her belief in the importance of providing for those in need, the humility, compassion, and work ethic she has demonstrated on a daily basis with her coworkers and clients, her integrity, and her consummate dedication to her work. While we will miss Carol greatly, I would ask the board to join those of us in the audience and those who may be watching to congratulate Carol on her well-deserved retirement after 25 years with the county. And with that, I will ask Chairman Royce to come down and present the commendation to Carol.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And before we do, let's, can I get a motion for the certificate?
I so move.
Have a second?
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Okay. And I'll come up.
I don't know what to say.
Here's certificate. And please,
Once again, I don't know how we got here. I want to thank the county for entrusting me, our fellow, the rest of the community, to help, as all of you do, in making hopefully their daily lives better. For whatever small part I played, it was never alone. It was always with the support of the people I worked with, and many of them here. And Ann is right that I found my spot when I went to social services, and I'm going to miss them dearly. And very grateful for that opportunity and everything I learned from them and all the people who've come before me for help. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, could the clerk please read item 11?
Can I first just ask who seconded the motion? It was Randy? Okay, thanks. Okay. Consideration of approving a certificate of recognition to Mike Albrecht for being awarded the National Loggers Activist by the American Loggers Council.
All right. I believe Mr. Hanvelt would like to present.
Yeah, first of all, I just got to say congratulations to Michael. You know, we've had Michael in our community for a long time, and he has been an outstanding and balanced spokesperson for the health of the forest, particularly in the Stanislaus. I think we all realize just how important the Stanislaus National Forest is and in our community and the forests are in other communities in this state and around the nation. Mike has been a spokesman and a leader in promoting healthy forests, managing them correctly so that they're not a danger to themselves, they're not a danger to us, and that they produce economic advantages to all of us. And, you know, I feel a little embarrassed that we haven't recognized Michael for his leadership before this. But we had the privilege of attending a Association of California Loggers meeting in Jackson a few weeks ago where they presented him the national award. This is the very first national award ever that they put together for this. And in 31 states, I think is the number, applied and gave a nomination, and Mike Albrecht won. Mike, you know, I don't know how he does his business. He has to make a living, but he's always out there speaking on behalf of the forest. He is the president of YSS. He shares the leadership with John Buckley. He reaches across the aisle to all the interests, and he makes it happen. And we are privileged to have a leader like Mike Albrecht in our community, and so it's my privilege to move approval of a certificate of recognition on his behalf.
Thank you, Randy. Do you have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it after my comments. There are very few people anywhere that have the ability to work with the full spectrum of interests to get something very positive done. Mike's overt, covert, out in the public and behind the scenes work has been truly commendable. And Mike, I just want to thank you for your leadership in helping make Tuolumne County a better place to live. There's very few people that have contributed the level that you have towards this county, and the entire county owes you a great debt for that. And with that, I will very happily second the motion.
Thank you. We have a motion second. Would you guys-
I think Supervisor Hanvelt and Rodefer covered everything. I think when I first met Mike, that he had more hair, as I recall. And I think what happens is when you become that activist, you know, it is stressful. But I think, Mike, you handle it wonderfully. You are a real calm voice out there, and we certainly appreciate what you do.
Yeah, and I agree with all of the comments. Behind every good leader, though, there is a silent partner. And I'd also like to thank Vicki for all the work she does on behalf of the industry. Thank you.
And I would just say I agree with what everyone has said, and it's a pleasure to be honoring you today. Appreciate everything you do. So with that, I'll ask, is there any public comment? And we'll probably get to that anyways, but I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And Mike, if you could come up and present this to you.
Well,
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. You make me want to meet this Mike Albrecht someday. I'm not sure I know the one you're talking about.
She's out there.
I certainly thank you very, very much for this. It's very humbling to have gotten this award. It was a big surprise. It's very humbling and honor to get this recognition. I thank you, all of you, to the board and the comments you've made. I really accept it on behalf of my crew who's out there working today while I'm here, and my partner, Stacy Dodge, who all of you know works equally hard in this industry. And of course, thank you, Sherry, for honoring the real partner in this business who does so much, and that's my wife, Vicki. Without her, I'd be I'd be some other Mike Albrecht, probably the one I know better than you do or something. But I got to say that when I got this award, I was telling my kids about it, and they told some of their friends down in the valley, and my son said, "Yeah, my dad got a national logging award." And in this group of friends, they were quiet for a minute, and then a gal said, "Wow, well, what's he blog about?" No, logging, not blogging. But logging is a familiar term to us up here, and I'm not sure in the valley that it's quite as familiar. But I want to say that this board has been particularly active and wonderfully supportive of our industry, and I thank every one of you for that. Particularly Sherry and Randy have been attending our YSS meetings, and I'm very encouraged. YSS stands for Yosemite Stanislaus Solutions, and our community really is coming together for the first time in a long time around solutions instead of argument. And I know John Buckley and I seem to represent the two extremes on that, and us coming together is sort of noteworthy. Really, there are 25 groups in that are all noteworthy, and we're working hard to do good things in the forest. I'm optimistic about the future. My final, statement will be my goal in my next 10 or 12 years in this industry, however long I last, is to see us become what we aren't right now as a nation. As a nation right now, we're the #2 importer of lumber in the world. And that takes a while to sink in for a minute. But as a nation, we have 1/3 of our nation covered in forest, and we're the #2 importer of lumber in the world. And I'd like to see us change that statistic and become a leading exporter. We don't need to become #1, but we need to turn that around, and I'm going to work hard to see that we can do that. So thank you very much for this recognition that I pass on to my whole crew, and my wife especially, and I'll see if I can earn it.
Thank you,
Thanks
Mike, very much. All right. Let's see. Could the clerk please read item 12?
Consideration of approving direction on whether or not to pursue an early retirement incentive program.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, it was back in May that your board, and per prior direction, staff brought to you the concepts, program principles of a potential early retirement program for the county. Your board did go ahead and approve those draft principles. One of the chores we had was to come back with a recommendation as to what the actual financial incentive would be before going out and actually testing the waters to see if people were interested in that. The committee did come up with proposed incentives. These are in the form of one-time lump sum benefits that are on the bottom of page 1 of your memo. And just quickly, someone that meets all the criteria and has been with the county 10 to 15 years of continuous service, the incentive would be $7,500. If they're 16 to 20 years continuous county service, $12,500. If they're over 20 years of service, continuous county service, it'd be $15,000, and that incentive could be taken as cash or used to cover medical premiums over time. At the last department heads meeting, we discussed this item, and actually there was a lot of concerns that were raised by the department heads, consistent with some of the things that your own board had mentioned previously. And on the second page, those are outlined. I won't go through every point because it's in your memo, but there's really concerns about how the actual cost savings would even be calculated, because it is so dependent upon how the recruitment goes for the replacement of people who would retire. There's so many iterations of that, you really wouldn't know until you filled the vacant positions, and that's hard to wait until that point to calculate it. Also, some of the concerns also ran along the lines of, if this was effective, where would the cash come from, for the upfront cash to pay these incentives? Would this program really just serve as a special retirement bonus to those who had already announced their plans to retire? Every time we've done an early retirement program like this, you have people who have talked about retiring, and then they hear about an incentive, and then they want to get the incentive, so they'll go as far as to unannounce their retirement so they could hopefully be eligible for the benefit. We have another class of folks that haven't formally announced their retirement yet, because you're kind of sitting back to see if this will be offered, and kind of the same category of what I just described. And if we were to go ahead and offer it, at that point they would likely announce. And again, is this just rewarding someone who's already planning to retire? So that's a concern. There's also, of course, the department has continued to have concerns about the loss of experience and institutional memory. There's already been a lot of that, and it's going to happen one way or another, but the sense is this will just accelerate that. And then the last observation is just that they felt that with the recent PERS action that your board took, that was really kind of a game changer in resetting the environment in which this program would even be offered, because people are going to stick around that may have been thinking about going early will want to stick around to get that full benefit of that salary impact for their future retirement. So those are just some of the things I've just gone over really quickly. So from your county department heads, their recommendation is for the board not to proceed in offering any form of early retirement incentive. But that's up to your board. You could direct us to go ahead and still go ahead and offer it and do the best we can to calculate what the potential savings are before actually doing the program. But as I mentioned earlier, it's going to be hard to calculate what potential savings you may have, because it's really going to depend upon how you actually go about filling those vacancies, and you have to go through recruitment and all that to get to that point. So this is really for your board. What do you want to do? You have a recommendation from your department heads, but we'll do whatever you'd like us to do.
Thanks, Craig. John?
Yeah, when we were looking at this, our financial picture was a little more bleak than it is right now. I know it's not perfect now, but we were looking at ways to try to save some money so that we didn't have to lay off people, as I recall. So with the change in the retirement program, it would be my opinion that we just kind of put this on the shelf and worry about it later.
Other comments?
Yeah, just one. I don't disagree at all with my colleague. I just would remind people that there were really two reasons that we were pursuing this. One was to look for, and typically it's future cost savings. It's not near-term cost savings, because there is an upfront cost of providing the early retirement incentives. And the future cost savings come with hiring people in at different tiers, retirement tiers, and also theoretically lower salary levels. You bear the brunt of the loss of experience. There's no doubt about that. If you implement it properly, that can be managed. But as this was always intended to be at the discretion of the department heads, given that the department heads recommend that we don't proceed, then I would be very strongly inclined to go with their recommendation.
Comments?
Not great.
I would just say I agree. And as John said, we're in a different situation to some degree. And I think in the future, just to make a point, I think when it becomes beneficial to have a program like this is when you're planning on losing positions within your ranks, and through attrition, you don't end up having to lay off good employees. You can just have a natural process. So with that, I'll just ask that we have a motion.
I move that we not pursue an early retirement program at this time.
I'll second. Okay, thank you, Sherry. Motion second. Is there any public comment? Okay, I'll bring it back and call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Could the clerk please read item 13?
Consideration of approving the updated class specifications for the position of the health officer.
Okay. Mr. Chair, members of the board, as noted in the first line of your memo, we have Dr. Todd Stolp, who's preparing to retire as our county health officer in February 21 of 2015. And I'm going to try to restrain myself because we'll have time to talk about that retirement. I'll just say this, Todd's been a friend, he's been a personal physician, he is one of the smartest guys I know, and has just been exemplary, as our health officer, and there's no way we're going to replace all those different elements in Todd Stolp. But in the meantime, we have some mechanical things we need to do in preparation for recruiting, and that includes just looking at things like salary, his class specifications for the position, and so forth. We have looked at his salary, the salary of the position, and feel that that is sufficient, and we're fine not to make any adjustments before going out to recruitment. And the class specification that was reviewed by Dr. Stolp and Ann Connolly and Ann Fremd and myself, and there's just a few changes that are itemized at the bottom of page 1, top of page 2. Probably the most notable thing I'd point out near the top of page 2, and this would be a change, but this also reflects the uniqueness of Dr. Stolp, is that we will be looking at doing a request for proposals to contract for someone to serve as the emergency medical services director for the county. I think Todd is the only health officer in the state that does that. He's nodding yes. And that's just because of the unique skills and abilities and willingness, of Todd, and it is much more common that function is contracted out. I wanted your board to be aware of it. It's something that wasn't actually in his job description, but he did it. But that's something that we would actually do an RFP for. And if you have questions about how that works, Todd is here to talk about it. We do recommend that the bargaining unit in which the health officer position resides be switched from executive confidential to the physicians unit, and the logic is laid out in the staff report. And those groups have been contacted, and they're in agreement with that shift of assignment. There's a recruitment plan that's laid out on the bottom of page 2, top of page 3, very similar to what you've seen, like we just went through with the Ag Commissioner, very similar process. This is another unique one, though. There's so many unique things about some of your top positions in the county. This one is not a department head position, actually reports to the Human Services Agency Director, and yet the board actually makes the final appointment, and that's per state code. So that's very unique to this particular position. There's also a timeline for that recruitment that's laid out, bottom of page 3 of your memo. So again, just touching upon those things, it is recommended that your board go ahead and approve the updated class specification for the position of health officer, and the change in the placement of the health officer position from executive confidential unit to the physician unit. And again, open to any comments you may have on the recruitment process itself.
Any questions, comments? Go to public comment at this time. Bring it back to the board.
I'd like to hear from Dr. Stolp, since he's here, and how he feels about the specification here.
Good morning, members of the board. Mr. Chair, Todd Stolp, Health Officer. My approach to the position has been to leave the administrative decisions to my colleagues, both in HSA. Ann Connolly has been an excellent director and has discussed issues with me regularly about the specifics of the benefits and the position itself. Craig has, as he said, has been a friend as well as a highly respected colleague in his position, and I would defer to them for decisions based upon budgetary arrangements and the organization itself to how those benefits would fit into the job of health officer. Most important to me were the assignments and the responsibilities that are delineated, and I think they're accurate for what needs to be accomplished.
Thank you very much, Todd.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, or someone like to make a motion?
I'll move to approve the updated class specification for the position of health officer.
Second.
Second.
And just clarification, that includes the unit assignment change?
Yes. Includes the entire staff recommendation. How's that?
Okay. I believe we took public comment, so I will call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Okay, could the clerk please read item 14?
Consideration of adopting a resolution authorizing the county administrator to act on behalf of Tuolumne County for the purposes of obtaining federal financial assistance under Public Law 93-288 and/or state financial assistance under the California Disaster Assistance Act, and sign any documents related to the matter.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, as you know, we have both a statewide emergency related to the drought and our local emergency related to the drought. We've been focusing a lot of our, we've been focusing attention on all the needs related to the drought. We've talked a lot about assistance for public water systems, but this board's also been very consistent sharing concerns about what's happening with people on private wells. The governor has also seen the need to address needs that are growing with people who are on wells, both public systems and private systems. Again, I think we've been doing a great job working with our local utility companies, addressing concerns and needs that they have. But something we have been talking about is the needs for people on private wells in our community. Your Environmental Health Director, Robert Kostlevy, has mentioned that we now have 19 permits that have been taken out for new wells or deepening of existing wells, and those are all related to the impacts of the drought. That's 24% of the permits that we have had taken out this year. Just since Mr. Kostlevy and Tracy in my office did a motherlode views encouraging people, if you're having problems related to your wells going dry or weakening, please let us know. We've had 8 people come forward talking about their systems that have either been totally depleted or in process. As of today, I believe Rob had confirmed that all 8 of those complaints do have wells that have failed and do need help. And we firmly believe there's additional folks out there that need help. What I just passed down the dais is a little form, very simple form that we have put on the county website for people to report abnormal groundwater and surface water levels, to let us know of any issues that folks are seeing out there in the county. This is on our homepage of the county. It's on the emergency services page. It's on the CRA page, and I believe it's also on our Ag Commissioners page. So people can get this form, fill it out, and submit it to Environmental Health to report issues that they're having. So all that to be said, this is a very real problem in Tuolumne County. It's happening in other areas of the state. Thus, the governor on September 19th issued an executive order that does open up the potential, not the potential, it opens up funding to help people who don't have water to their homes for basic health and sanitation reasons. A system has been set up where while the state will not help fund drilling new wells, they will not help fund deepening wells, they will not help fund replacing pumps and things like that. What they will do is help fund backup water supplies, and there's different ways that can be done. The one most commonly mentioned has been to have some temporary water storage, tanks put in at homes, connect them up to the homes, and then find some system bringing water to supply those tanks, and they will fund that. If county government does it, we would only get reimbursed 75% of the cost. If we do it through a private nonprofit entity that is already set up to provide essential services, then 100% of that activity, the cost of that, could be reimbursable through the state. So in thinking about this, the first private nonprofit that came to our mind, was ATCA, and as an organization, Amador-Tuolumne Community Action Agency, and while they are a governmental agency, they do have a nonprofit, wing, and that's it's in the memo. Yeah, ATCAR, the Amador-Tuolumne Community Resources, Inc., is the nonprofit arm, and they're willing to, and Shelley's here today, Shelley Hance, the director, I'm sure she'll get up and talk about it. There's a willingness on their part to be part of the solution here for our community. What we need is, in order to take advantage of what the governor has done, did this already go through?
Yeah.
Okay, everyone's got copies of the memorandum. We need your board to approve of the resolution that was included in your agenda packet so that we can take advantage of the California Disaster Assistance Act consistent with the governor's proclamation. And that gives me authority to go ahead and sign whatever's needed to make application for that program. Also given authority for the CAO to sign a memorandum of understanding between the county and ATCR, the nonprofit arm of ATCA. And basically the thrust of this MOU is that if people do report that they're having problems, our environmental health department will go out and confirm that the problems are real and people should be eligible for this program, and then those folks would be turned over to ATCR, and they would do the follow-up in providing the services to those homeowners or renters. So that's the nature of the MOU. Hats off to Sarah Carrillo, our county counsel. This is the first memorandum of its type in the state under this new program. Something tells me will become a prototype for use throughout the state. So thank you to Sarah, for working so diligently on that. And this has been approved by state OES as to form. And the last thing is, usually when these things happen, especially a new program, besides from approving the resolution, giving me authority to sign the MOU, is just giving me general authority to sign whatever related paperwork comes up, because it's a new program and we don't want to hold things up that'll be consistent with all these, these actions. So with that, I believe Shelley was going to talk about what they're willing and able to do from their end.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Shelley Hance, Executive Director of ATCA and its related nonprofit ATCAR. We are embarking on water conservation and leveraging with our weatherization program, and this fits in with that. We are ready to go with this. We will be doing primarily all of it will be through independent contractors, vendors for the tanks, and water haulers. We actually have a county-identified volunteer for donations of water, and so we feel we'll be able to act on this very quickly once it is approved. Our ATCAR board approved it yesterday morning, and it will be under the leadership of our Energy and Conservation Director, Craig Case, who is here and present. So I could take any questions you might have.
Any questions? I would just say thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate you
It's
getting
exciting
involved.
to have this work so quickly through our county process.
Carl?
Yeah, obviously I wholeheartedly support the staff recommendation on this, but I want to highlight three things that I think are notable. One is this is the first of its kind memorandum, and although sometimes for me it seems like I've been a supervisor for a very long time, I've only been a supervisor for less than 2 years. But in that time, this county has led the way in this state in at least three separate areas. And other states are following our lead in those areas. And I think it's important that we recognize the fact that our county staff regularly exhibits agility and responsiveness and innovation in emerging areas. And I want to thank the staff for everything that they've done in that. The second thing that I want to highlight is the importance of having an organization like ATCA in our community. They do tremendous things, and obviously without them, we would not be realizing the full savings of these programs. And just having them there is huge, and then the quality of the services that they provide just add to that. And then the last thing I'd like to highlight is the community support that we get. Shelley kind of glossed over it a little bit, but the volunteer for providing water is just the latest example of our community supporting itself and helping out, pitching in and helping out. So I think that with that, again, I move to on staff recommendation.
I have a quick, just a quick question on this report of abnormal groundwater form, because this is clearly just for households that have lost their drinking water. And I don't want there to be any confusion, because under water source types, it lists ditch, creek, and ponds, and that usually is ag-related and not household water.
They were trying to cast the net a little broader. So anyone that's having an issue out there, please report it, and we'll get them directed to the right program. What we're discussing today is for the households.
Right, and so that's, I just wanted to be real clear that
Right.
This is just for households.
The program we're talking about today is just for households, but if anyone has a problem, go ahead and use this form, and we'll follow up through the right channel. But just to camp there a little bit, because it'd be the fourth prong, I think of the things of note, is we need people to report, and there was good response, to the motherlode views thing. Don't be afraid that we're going to come down and red tag people and that kind of thing because they don't have water. And the governor's been responsive. Clearly, this board has been responsive. We want to help them if they're having problems. We want to help, and now we have a mechanism to do so. We just need people to let us know. They're having problems, whether it's household or even in some of those other areas. We'll get them in the right channel and help them out.
Did you want to say something?
I would just want to add one thing I left out, and that is that we will be prioritizing medical need, homebound seniors, and that kind of prioritization should there with need. So that would be important for you to know. That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a few comments. First of all, I'm glad that we're doing this, and I want to say that similar to Carl, our staff has done an amazing job, and not only are you guys diligent and productive and all those good things, but you really do want to help people, and that's a good thing. And I trust our staff a lot to do that. The state I don't trust so much, and I think a lot of people share that feeling. So just please be very, very cautious in reading whatever we're authorizing you to sign, because we don't see every last word of it. And this is a new frontier when it comes to groundwater monitoring and some of the laws that are going to start evolving through the next few years. And when people start putting themselves on the radar, not necessarily positive of what they're subjecting themselves to, So please be a chaperone with that kind of forethought. And then the other thing I just wanted to bring up is, forgive me, it's somewhat not directly related to this, but I was thinking about policies that have affected the water table and the groundwater situation, and the fact that we're in a drought, obvious that we're going to have impacts to our groundwater. But you think about other policies and other both local and statewide when it comes to, drought-resistant irrigation, just all the things that prevent water from going back into the ground. The water that we use, whether it's, less septic systems and they're consolidating, effluent water and using it. And I think it's something that we need to start considering. And I think, Bev, when we look at our general plan, I think, I don't know if it's worth, reaching out to consultants, but I could use some education on it myself. And as we move forward, this is probably going to give us some information. I know Tuolumne County has different geology than the valley, and, it's just something to consider. So with that, I would just say thank you. And once again, thank you very much, Shelley, for you guys stepping up and taking this on. So is there any other public comment? Did you want?
I was just going to say, I'll make sure, even if it's an application, I'll still ask Sarah to, look it over for me too, just in case my eyes aren't catching, everything. These are usually, standard applications, but I get the concern, so we'll get another set of eyeballs on it, looking at it from a different angle.
Unintended consequences.
Got it,
Yeah.
got it. But I do want to specifically thank, again, I said her name, but Tracy Riggs has just been knocking it dead in this whole area as far as her efforts and her proactivity and her follow-up has just been outstanding in all of this stuff.
And she's in Hawaii.
Yeah.
She deserves it. Okay. I think that's it. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, could the clerk please read item 15?
Consideration of adopting a resolution approving revisions to the California Home Finance Joint Powers Authority Agreement.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this is actually not an organization we talk a lot about, but it's a wing of something that's provided through RCRC. They have updated their joint powers, or want to update their joint powers agreement for the California Home Finance Authority. The highlights of the amendments are found at the bottom of page 1 of your memorandum. Again, fairly straightforward amendments. I know that Supervisor Hanvelt must have been in the meeting where these things were first discussed and wanted to make sure that we followed up and had them, before you as soon as possible. County Council went through them completely and has reviewed them and signed off on them. And I just recommended your board go ahead and approve those revisions to the California Home Finance JPA agreement.
Questions? Public comment? Can I get a motion?
Yeah, I'd
approval.
move to approve the revisions to the California Home Finance JPA agreement.
Okay. A motion from Sherry, a second from Randy. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Clerk, please read item 16.
Consideration of hearing of first reading of an ordinance amending section 2.24.03D of the Tuolumne County Ordinance Code, authorizing the purchasing agent to deem surplus and dispose of county personal property which has an original value of $5,000 or less.
Thank you.
Good morning. Debbie Batista, County Clerk, Auditor, Controller, and Deputy Purchasing Agent. What you have in front of you is one way to streamline the way that we sell and dispose of fixed assets. Right now, we have to go to the board every single time, and Murphy's Law always wins. And just as we make the list up to give to you, we will get in more assets, and when we have to keep them separate so that we can't sell something that we don't send to the board. So numerous counties give authorization to the purchasing agent, which would be Mr. Pedro, and then he authorizes the deputy purchasing agent, which would be myself, at a level that seems to be fair. For the County of Tuolumne, our capitalization policy is $5,000. So what I'm asking is that we amend our ordinance code that anything with an original value of less than $5,000, so no vehicles, that we will be able to deem that it is no longer good for public good, and that I can sell it at county auctions without having to come to the board every couple months. I also am proposing that an annual report will be given to the board, so you'll get a list of all those goods that we have sold and/or gotten rid of, and also how much money we brought in. So there's still the ability to see everything that we surplus. Again, for the departments, there is no change. They still need to fill out all the paperwork and send it to us. It's just going to streamline the ability to sell these goods faster, have sales quicker, and probably we're going to look at maybe having sales at least once a month on a Friday, and this just makes everything easier to do.
Questions? What's the limit right now?
0. I have to bring everything to you. That's why you
So,
got
pencil?
pencils. Sometimes if you look at the list, you guys have pencil sharpeners, waste baskets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Questions? Okay. Is there any public comment? Bring it back to the board.
Move on staff recommendation.
Second.
Motion and second. Right. So to be clear, we are,
This is the first reading.
first reading, we're going to schedule the second reading for November 4th. Okay. That was the motion. Second. Call for question. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk, please read item 17.
Consideration of approving final bond purchase agreement for refinancing 2003 California Public Employee Retirement System Side Fund, authorizing the county auditor, controller, and county administrator to sign final bond agreements.
I thought we were done with this already.
I was hoping we were. I believe this is the third time that we've brought this back to the board, and we're done, or we're close enough that we should hopefully close within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Carlin and I went, around December 1st is when we're going to close. Carlin and I went to court on Friday. Judge Sigerstrom signed the order so that the bonds could be issued. We have contacted PERS for our final demand. If for some reason the demand is materially higher than what we're presenting to you, we will not do the bonds. That's not going to happen, but I'm just telling you that we would do that. If for some reason, we're hoping the interest rates actually will drop and not go up. If they materially go up, that this is not a savings to the county, again, we won't sign the papers. But everything, all the indications is that this should be a go. What will happen is on the payroll, I think, oh golly, probably about the last payroll of November, we will stop paying the 8% on the Tier 1 for the side fund, because that'll be part of the calculations to pay this off. And from that period on, we will save those monies. Mr. Pedro and I will get together to do all the calculations and bring them back to you at mid-year, because there will be budget calculations we'll have to change. We'll have to put the loan amount in to be paid, and the savings that with the PERS, and then the savings, the net savings will be used for whatever the board deems it to be used for. So what I'm asking is to get the green light to go ahead with paying off the side fund and issuing the bonds.
Okay. Any other questions? Public comment? Can I get a motion?
I'll move on staff recommendation.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Call for question. All in favor?
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Thank you,
Thank
Debbie.
you.
Okay. Could the clerk please read item 18?
Consideration of accepting the annual report of the accounting activities related to the county's traffic impact mitigation fund for 2012, 2013, 14. Sorry.
Good morning. Dana Vaccarezza, the Community Resources Agency Business Manager. Before you this morning are actually 3 agenda items related to our traffic mitigation funds. As you are all aware, we have collected monies related to development projects and set those aside in special funds that are restricted as to their use on road improvement projects. The first report is on the Major Traffic Mitigation Fund. This report for 2013-2014 fiscal year is attached. It has a beginning cash balance of $10.1 million. We collected fees of $157,000. There were loan payments for the Law and Justice Center and solid waste funds of around $500,000. And project expenditures were approximately $656,000, and it gets us to an ending cash balance of $10.2 million. In addition to the cash balance, we also have some outstanding loan balances to the Law and Justice Center for $2.1 million and Solid Waste Fund for $936,000. So the total fund balance at the end of June for 2014 is $13.3 million. Included in the report is an attachment, A, that has some notes to the actual report. In this, it gives a summary of the capital improvement projects that your board has actually allocated traffic mitigation funds for. The first one in the 1999 Road Improvement Fund, there is $4.1 million for the Monterey Widening Project, which is a project with the City of Sonora to make the improvements to Monterey. There is the Fifth Avenue at State Route 108 Signal Project, and then the Standard and Tuolumne Road Signal Project. In the Regional Road Fund, $1.1 million has been set aside for the Rawhide Road at Woods Creek Bridge project. And taking all of the allocated funds, the project expenditures that have been incurred to date, the cash balance that is on hand, the unallocated cash balance in this fund is $3.6 million as of June 30th, 2014. I can answer any questions you might have.
Historically, what have the fees collected been?
Historically, it's been about what we've been seeing. In the last couple of years, they have been down because development has been down, so about $150,000 for the last couple fiscal years.
What would it have been like 7, 8, 10 years ago?
During the building boom, we were getting between $500,000 to $1 million a year.
A lot more.
Yes.
So I'm just curious, thinking about future. It'd be interesting to look at a graph of it over a couple decades and kind of see the cycles.
We can do that.
Could you?
Yes, we can create that.
You look at that kind of a trend and then draw a line through the middle. I'm curious where we end up, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, what kind of funds we will have for projects. And it's good to see that a lot of the funds that we have are allocated towards some of our really critical bottlenecks in our transportation systems. But thinking ahead is important, and this is a good tool for funding projects.
And one of your board goals and on your 5-year plan, of course, is an update to these traffic fees.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be done in conjunction with the update of the regional transportation plan that the Transportation Council, under the guidance of Mr. Grossi, is working on right now. So we anticipate probably a year from now we'll have information regarding at least maybe a draft proposal on a new fee program.
Is there other questions?
I got a question. It's on a specific project. Now, it's on this list, and then it's also on item 19 as the second, and that's the signalization at Woodham Carn Road. And my question is, I've had some folks that really ask what the process is, if there will be public input, because they have a lot of concerns about that project. And so I'm not sure what that process is. Maybe you could explain it. But you've got a grade there, right, and heavy traffic, both going up it would have difficulty getting started. You have buses going to the casino, and coming down it, they would be going so slow. And so there were a number of concerns expressed to me about that, and especially with folks, the way they pass when they're behind something that's going 10 miles an hour. So just curious about what that process is.
The only project on Tuolumne Road, we actually have two projects we're working on right now, and that's the signalization of Standard Road.
Right.
And that one is being designed right now, will be brought to your Board of Supervisors. So that would be an opportunity for public input when we bring that project to your board. The other project we're currently working on, just beginning stages, is we did receive the Highway Safety Improvement Program funds for some work on Tuolumne Road itself to do a widening at the Lambert Lake intersection in that particular area. And that project is, again, just starting the engineering phase. So those are the only two in the works right now. Typically on these projects, like a bridge replacement project, we do go out and do contact neighboring property owners and conduct public meetings and things like that. On safety improvements, we don't typically do that. The design has to come to your board, and when we ask for funding to even start the project, is a public process. But if we get to the point of doing something at Woodham Carn, then we could certainly come back and do more of a public outreach. That's really discretion of the county at that point, is how much we want to do.
One thing I've learned is with transportation projects especially, but really any type of infrastructure project, it's all about leveraging funds and trying to access other resources. So with these kind of funds, I mean, there's some constraints because it's got to be, applied to basically new projects or improvements, not just maintenance type projects. But what are we doing to leverage those funds? Just I'm curious, just for my own kind of educational sake, to know what we're doing and how we take advantage of that to
I think the
our best ability.
Example on your list is that you're using these traffic impact mitigation fee funds for a portion of the Rawhide Road Bridge replacement project and the improvements to the intersection of Rawhide at 108, and we've budgeted $1.1 million of county money, and that's a $10 million project. So that's where we're being able to leverage our partnership. This is how much we're going to put into that project, but we're getting all of this from federal funding.
And then, so to look at these projects, these are these all county projects, or are there city projects in here too?
The Monoway widening project obviously is a city project, and the intersection improvements at Mono and Greenlee. It's another major city project, and I do know the city is working on the engineering. Will be going to the city administrator coming to us in probably in the next few months to ask for a partnership again for funding that project.
And that's due to the result of mitigation from projects that lead to impacts upon those intersections and so forth.
Exactly. Remember, these traffic fees pay for the cumulative impacts on the county's road system, which is looked at as a regional system. And while there are city and county projects, we do look at on the regional level, and that's why these funds are, you have agreed to partnerships with the city, and because we recognize that the problems in the city are contributed from development in the county.
Darren, can you come up? Just a couple questions. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Good morning, Darren Grossi, Executive Director of the Transportation Council.
Thanks for being here. Just a quick question. What can we do to do more? I know every single one of the supervisors sitting here wants to see more transportation projects, see more, pavement on the road. What can we do to improve our road system in Tuolumne County beyond what we're already doing? From our perspective, sitting up here, what tools do we have?
When you're looking for partnerships, you're looking for opportunities to align our priorities with state or federal priorities. And in some situations where the feds have a strong interest in rehabbing a bridge, you're able to marry those federal bridge funding with some of our local road funds to do a bigger, grander project to accomplish everybody's needs. It gets a little more tough when you're strictly talking about a county road improvement
Maintenance projects and so forth.
Certainly maintenance.
Right.
It really is kind of beyond what we can do with traffic mitigation
Yeah.
funds. It's when you look at government code 66,000, it's tough to get there. But you know, if you're doing some sort of, I think there's a mention of improvements on Tuolumne Road, doesn't line up very good with federal funds, but or any state funds. Perhaps you might be able to get some funds, but you have to look at where the state's going. The state is really heading in a direction with green cap and trade funds towards more walkable communities, more transit-oriented communities. I think there's some opportunities within our next general plan update, as well as our next fee program update, to begin to align some of our funding with that, particularly in the traffic impact mitigation fees, giving out credits when appropriate, particularly in the sub-network, but also generating some funds to leverage other funds. We'll have to see what happens in the next federal transportation bill and look for opportunities there as well. So there's a few ideas there that we can work on, and if appropriate, we can amend programs midstream if the feds, through their new update probably in May, and the federal transportation bill shows some opportunities to align goals and objectives.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Is there any other public comment?
Good morning, Carl Dambacker. I have a question just to clarify. Where does the sales tax go towards or from gasoline consumption? Was that ever looked upon as a source of funding communities, roads? Could someone clarify that for me? Thank you.
I would add vehicle license fees and registration too.
A lot of that has changed over the years, and now we don't even have sales tax per se. It's excise, tax. But that's a fundamental part of our maintenance, road maintenance monies. Some portion of it does go over to help in Darren's funding worlds, but some's going to projects at a regional level, and some is going towards maintenance, road maintenance at the local level.
Not all of it though, huh?
Not all of it. No.
I think the state.
Most of it's going up to the state. Most of it's going to the state.
They siphon it off.
Right.
Yeah. All right. I get a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the report on traffic impact mitigation funds as submitted.
Second. Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carries 5-0. Clerk, please read item
19.
19, yeah.
Consideration of accepting the annual report of the accounting activities related to the Tribal Road Mitigation Fund for fiscal year 13-14.
Good morning. Dana Vaccarezza, Community Resources Agency Business Manager. Before you is the second report, which is related to our Tribal Traffic Mitigation Fund. This is a special fund that was established as part of an MOU between the County of Tuolumne and the Tuolumne Board of Miwok Indians to mitigate impacts on Tuolumne Road associated with the construction and operation of the Black Oak Casino. Beginning in July of 2013, there was approximately $2 million in the Tribal Mitigation Fund. Fees collected from the Miwok Indians was $120,000. Project expenditures were $7,500. Interest earned of $11,000 for an ending balance of $2.2 million. Also, as presented with the other reports, there's been 2 projects that your board has allocated funding from the Tribal Mitigation Fund to help support. Primarily the Standard and Tuolumne Road signal. There has been $1.096 million, allocated. And the Tuolumne Road North chip seal, which was just completed recently, for $249,600. So given those allocated funds and the cash balance at June 30th, there's approximately $825,000 of this fund that is remaining unallocated at this time. Are there any questions?
Question, on North Tuolumne Road, nice chip job, it looks real good. The only problem that I see is with most of our roads, it needed to go all the way to Twain Hart instead of where it stopped. So when you're looking at those tribal funds, what distance from the casino are we looking at? Can we go all the way to Twain Hart with those?
What the MOU actually says, and it is on the last page, it's attachment B, list what we can spend the money on, and all of North Tuolumne Road is included.
Okay, so it could go all the way.
As Ms. Vaccarezza said, we have about $800,000 left in the fund. With next year's revenue coming in about $120,000, we'll have close to $1 million. We are looking at a reconstruction from the chip seal portion to the rest of North Tuolumne Road. We just need a little bit more money. We can go and do that major reconstruction project. The chip seal is fine for the road that had pretty good base, but the remainder of that road is in not such a good condition. So I would like to do a reconstruction on it.
All right, thank you.
So you're going to do the same as like Woodham Carn, grind it up and
Yes, that's the plan right now.
and overlay it.
And if not next summer, the summer after.
How far was that section that was chip sealed for 250K?
I don't recall. It was less than a mile.
Pretty good system, though.
Yeah.
It's a rubberized chip seal. Is that right?
The chip seal is not. We are actually applying to Cal Recycle for a grant to add the rubberized asphalt to the projects you approve for next summer, which would be Parrots Ferry Road and those roads. And
So that's just a normal chip seal?
That's just a normal chip seal, yeah. But we are very pleased with the results
Looks
of that
good,
chip
yeah.
seal. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? I have one, and I'm sorry asking this right now, but it's been just why did they patch
Is it on the agenda?
Why did they patch the cracks with cutback? Do you know? Instead
That
of
I
using a
can't answer.
rubberized.
That I can't answer.
It was a weird way that they did it, and I was just kind of. Anyways, is there any public comment? All right. Can I get a motion?
Move we accept the report.
I'll second. Sherry gets a second.
Okay. Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. Could the clerk please read item 21?
Actually, it's 20.
Oh, 20. We still have one more.
Yeah, consideration of accepting the annual report on the accounting activities related to the county's other traffic impact mitigation funds for 2013-14.
Good morning, Dana Vaccarezza, Community Resources Agency Business Manager. The final report before you this morning is for a collection of 9 smaller traffic mitigation funds. In attachment A is a complete list of all of these funds. The ending balance for the total of all 9 is $298,000. As you will notice on most of these funds, we are not currently actively collecting, with the exception of the Monoway interchange, in which there's been some development in that area that has been attributed to this fund. But for the most part, these funds are monies that were related to specific developments and can go to specific roads related to those developments. In terms of allocated funding, the Columbia Vista Estates, $60,000 of that has been allocated to the reconstruction of Yankee Hill and Jackson Street project. $79,300 of the Appa Valley Estates Mitigation Fund has been designated for the Lions Fall Mountain chip seal that was just recently completed. And then $4,000 was of the Monoway interchange has been designated for the safety improvement project for the Sanguinetti Loop Roundabout project. Your board also had approved that the Preston Lane Estates Mitigation Fund be closed, with those monies being transferred to the Preston Lane CSA, and that did take place in fiscal year 2013-14.
Questions? Public comment? Can I get a motion?
We'll move on staff recommendation.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Now, thank you. All right, could the clerk please read 21?
Consideration of hearing the first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 8.40 of the Tuolumne County Ordinance Code, amending the first 5 Tuolumne County Commission.
Good morning.
Morning.
Sheila Cruz, Director, First 5 Tuolumne. I'm here today on behalf of the First 5 Commission to ask you to consider an amendment to ordinance Chapter 8.4 of the Tuolumne County Ordinance Code, which governs the activities of the First 5 Tuolumne County Commission. It's important to know that this ordinance, for the most part, reflects the California Government Code, which sets out the requirements for county First 5 commissions, but there are a few areas in that code that allow for county decisions regarding the commission structure, and those are the areas that we're addressing in our request. These amendments have been presented in 3 public meetings by the commission, excuse me, and have gone before county council. There's just a few areas that we are asking you to consider. One is to allow all the commissioners to have an appointed alternate. We've never had that, but we've always had a board member able to have an alternate, and that really works well. This would allow all 7 commissioners to have an alternate. If we did that, we would wish to discontinue the ex officio structure because it would then be unnecessary if we had alternates appointed. We are requesting that term limits for the community representative commissioners be discontinued. Right now, we have 3 members. The government representatives do not have term limits. There are 2 3-year term limits for the 4 community members. It's very rare to have a community member wish to serve more than 6 years. In 15 years, I think there's only been 2 members, but we would like to make that available if possible. And then finally, we would like to change the language that would allow any community entity to apply for funds if one of their employees was serving on the commission. Currently, government entities can do that, so we have someone from public health, DSS, the board on the commission, and county entities can apply for funding, but right now we can't have any nonprofits on the commission employees if they want to apply. So this would sort of even the playing field, make it the same for all commissioners, and allow us to broaden our representation of voting members representing all community entities. We believe that these would assist our commission in continuing to do good business and effective business, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Questions?
No question, just a comment. It seems these changes just help streamline your operation a little bit better than what we're doing now. So, thank you.
And I concur. It's frustrating when you have a number of folks in the room, but don't have a quorum and can't accomplish the business at hand.
Okay. Randy?
Yeah, I fully support this. It just it bothers me a little bit. I'm making this comment. It's youth commissions. This is getting volunteers from the community to step up to do these very important tasks is a problem, and it is I know it's a commitment of time, and we just don't have enough people volunteering. So I would encourage anybody listening to the public, if there's something you're interested in, you have a passion for, I'm sure we have a place for you.
Actually,
especially with kids of all places.
If I could respond to that, one of the issues is that the legislation actually has pretty strict requirements as to who those other 4 community members can be. They have to represent health or education or be a parent. So sometimes the legislation itself restricts even interested parties, though we try to welcome everyone in some capacity.
Okay. Thank you very much. Is there any public comment? Can I get a motion?
I'll move on staff recommendation.
Second.
Okay. Get a second from John. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Yeah, we know. right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what they said. Okay.
22?
22, yeah.
Consideration of adopting a resolution implementing Assembly Bill 720, designating the Department of Social Services to assist county jail inmates in applying for health coverage and allowing the county to act on behalf of inmates for the purpose of coverage for accurate inpatient hospital services.
Good morning, Supervisor Royce, members of the board, Ms. Carrillo, Mr. Pedro. My name is Rebecca Espino. I'm a program manager, and I'm representing the Department of Social Services today. At the beginning of this year, the Affordable Care Act expanded Medi-Cal coverage to single adults between the ages of 18 and 64. It also expanded the coverages that Medi-Cal offers to include mental health and substance abuse treatment. Assemblywoman Nancy Skinner saw the possibilities created by this expansion to help counties with the rising cost of inmate health care by introducing Assembly Bill 720. This bill allows County Board of Supervisors to designate an entity to assist inmates in applying for health care and to act on behalf should an inmate become hospitalized. Additionally, the bill benefits counties in 3 major areas. First, it provides an avenue for local government agencies to utilize our existing resources and expertise to assist inmates to secure health care. The Department of Social Services has been working with the Sheriff's Department, the Probation Department, and Public Health in this effort. This collaboration is important because statistics show that inmates are more likely to have drug and alcohol dependency and mental health issues. These numbers hold true for our local inmates because approximately 50% are receiving some form of mental health services. Therefore, securing health care prior to leaving jail is key to their mental health stability and will hopefully reduce future incarcerations. Secondly, AB 720 reduces the administrative burden of processing new Medi-Cal applications every time an inmate leaves jail. Instead of terminating health coverage when a person is incarcerated, the bill allows the county to suspend benefits for up to a year. This not only reduces red tape, but what it does is it allows inmates who leave incarceration to immediately access their health care. Lastly, AB 720 allows counties to leverage federal dollars to help with the cost of inmate health care. Currently, Tuolumne County's contract with California Forensic Medical Group only covers the first $15,000 of inpatient care, and anything above that cost is to the county. Although it has been rare for inpatient care to exceed the $15,000 cap, the likelihood increased with the passage of Assembly Bill 109. AB 109 transferred responsibility of nonviolent state inmates to the county jail. Furthermore, the health issues that come with this population creates a financial risk to the county by increasing the possibility that these long-term inmates may require high-cost inpatient care. So, by designating the Department of Social Services to act on behalf of hospitalized inmates who may be eligible for Medi-Cal, it allows the county to receive federal reimbursement for these medical costs. In closing, the Department of Social Services respectfully requests your board to adopt the attached resolution designating the Department of Social Services to assist jail inmates in applying for health care and, if necessary, to act on behalf of jail inmates for the purposes of applying for Medi-Cal to cover inpatient hospital care. I'm available to answer questions. We also have our partners here from the Chief Probation Officer, Adele Arnold. We have Jail Commander Lieutenant Tammy McKay, and of course, our Health Officer, Todd Stope.
John?
Yeah, I think I understood what you were saying, but the question I have is, once they have Medi-Cal, they're in jail, they're covered, this will continue with them once they're released?
What will happen if a person becomes incarcerated, usually the Medi-Cal is discontinued. But what will happen is Medi-Cal will be suspended for up to a year. So when they leave, let's say they leave in 3 months, we will just unsuspend their Medi-Cal and they can go get their medications, go get services from a provider that they need to remain stable, especially if there's mental health issues involved.
All right, thank you.
Sounds peachy. Are there any downsides? Is there anything that you can see?
I don't think I see a downside.
Nothing?
As of
No
right
risk,
now.
nothing?
As of right now, the risk is that if we don't do this, then anything
We get to
over
pay for
the
it.
anything over the 12,000.
I get that part, yeah. Okay, no brainer. Anything else? No? Public comment? Okay. Are you guys? Okay, no public comment. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve on staff recommendation.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I think you guys voted for it. Okay, we got a 5. Thank you. Okay. Oh, yeah, let's do a little break. Come back in 10. Again here. Will the clerk please read our next item? 23, I believe.
It is second reading of an ordinance amending Section 2.52.010 of the Tuolumne County Ordinance Code, increasing the salary of members of the Board of Supervisors.
Okay, staff report.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, members of the, excuse me? Okay. Members of the board, we're bringing this item back, and just by way of review, with all of your bargaining groups, there was a major adjustment made related to our PERS program, Public Employees Retirement System program, where our employees agreed to pay a share of cost of the PERS retirement program, and your board agreed to offset that with an increase in salary. So there was no increased amount of money going into people's pocket per se.
It's a trade.
It was a trade-off, so there's no net change for the most part in people's take-home pay. So it's a trade-off. Your board had already approved this for all of your other bargaining units through memorandums of understandings, bargaining agreements with your other 5 elected officials, sheriff, DA, assessor, recorder, treasurer, tax collector, auditor, controller. Your board approved a resolution to address the salary side of things to make sure that there's no negative hit on people's take-home pay. And we're doing today is doing the same thing for the Board of Supervisors, so you don't take a net hit in your take-home pay, proposing to go ahead and take the final action to do an offsetting increase in the pay of the Board of Supervisors. So by approving this ordinance, the board's gross pay would change from $37,209.76 to $39,814.44, and that would take effect December 20 of this year. And it's my understanding I do have to literally read the ordinance, and thank goodness it's short. Or do I have to read it all, counsel?
You have to read
You
it?
don't have to if the board waives the reading.
Ah.
I would move that we
Waive the reading. Okay, do we have a second? Okay, any public comment on that? Okay, and now this isn't the whole action, is it? Or
Yeah.
to waive, that's the final, okay. Okay, is there any other comments from the board? I did want to make one comment, and I just want to lay out a little bit of the reasoning behind why this is being done and the strategy behind it. If you look at compensation in Tuolumne County across the board, typically we are high on the benefit side and low on the salary side. And as people retire and we replace positions, it is important that we have competitive salaries. So that's a very important component to this. The other part is that over time, we anticipate that PERS contributions are going to increase. If you look at the actuarials, the system needs an adjustment. And it's, it's going to benefit the county greatly to share that cost when the time comes with the employees. Both the employer, Tuolumne County, and the employees will experience that. And so by doing this right now, there's no real net change in our costs, but in the future it will create a savings for us. And so it's long-term strategy. I don't know if anyone else would like to add anything. So with that, I guess I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. What's that? I asked.
Oh,
Yeah.
My fault.
Okay. Could the clerk please read item 24?
This is the second reading of an ordinance amending sections of Chapter 1.10 of the Tuolumne County Ordinance Code related to Code Compliance Officer, time for prosecution, penalty waivers, the Code Compliance Trust Fund, statute of limitations, permitting restrictions, and clarifying code compliance procedural timeframes.
Okay, staff report.
Members of the board, as you recall, a couple weeks ago, our office, along with CRA, brought forward this ordinance, amending the sections just as the clerk read, and today we're asking the board to waive the second reading and adopt the ordinance.
Questions? Randy?
I think when we talked about this last time, we suggest that we review how it's working a year from now.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I'll move approval.
Is there a second?
And I'll second, including the caveat that we review it a year from now.
Okay, and I'll just make a quick comment that I think the whole board would agree with me that we want our code compliance ordinance to operate in a way that, and as you know, focuses on health and safety issues, but also on nuisances, not on, can't think when the thing's going. There's a backlog of code compliance cases, and there's no way that with the resources that we have that we can deal with all of them. So it becomes a matter of prioritization. And, typically people that are caught in a bureaucratic kind of a web that they don't realize, what they're doing, and they're trying to improve something. I don't want those people being, victims of the system here. But people that abuse it and people that are creating, like I said, health problems, I want that to be the focus. So I just wanted to reiterate that one more time.
I think the way that we have got this set up, we're not trying to be punitive. We're trying to gain compliance. And I think through our discussion, I think staff really understands that the importance of working with the individual to get it fixed.
Rectify
first.
it. Mm-hmm.
So that's all the comments I have.
I'd also like to have us look in the future at ways that we can rework our code compliance ordinance so that people that are habitual offenders on possibly multiple parcels or properties can be clearly identified, and that so that we're not piecemealed to the point of exhaustion. So I really, while I agree with everything that my two colleagues said, I also think that we have some holes in our ordinance that allow people to play games with us. And I want to close those loopholes without impacting the true innocents that are out there I'm not sure that I know the ordinance code well enough to be in full compliance with our codes and everything. So I don't want to get the innocents, but I do want to get the people that are playing games with us.
Any other comments? Is there any public comment? Bring it back to the board for motion.
I'll move on staff recommendation.
You have a motion.
I thought we already
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
did. Oh.
Apparently,
I voted.
I
you
had
the
something
one you
in
agreed.
common with our chairman.
Okay, call for the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Okay. Let's see. I guess item 25.
Reports.
Okay. Let's start with Supervisor Rutherford.
Okay, I'm going to cut to the chase on one item that I participated in on Thursday, October 16th. I participated in a NACO Western Regional WIR conference call, and I have some information to pass out to my colleagues. There's two items. That goes to Craig, that goes to you, and if you could just pass those down. I'll summarize very briefly for the public, and I'm sure that Mr. Pedro can make the documents available if you're interested. But during that conference call, we covered a lot of information, not the least of which was a current situation on PILT and Secure Rural School funding. We also talked about an election update. There was some significant discussion about the need to work on improving the the Endangered Species Act, and continue to press for a blockage of the proposed rule for waterways of the United States. There was a significant discussion on the American Lands Council and some of the good works that they're doing in terms of looking for ways to get opportunities out there to transfer federal lands back to some local control in some specific instances. There was also a discussion on the three major anticipated issues for largely rural western counties and the lame duck session that will be coming up in Congress. One of the more significant issues that was discussed that really got my attention, and that leads to the resolution that is the one-page attachment that I gave you. There was a situation in Utah where a commissioner, that's what they call them in Utah as opposed to supervisors, but where a county commissioner has been arrested and charged by the federal government, specifically BLM, with conspiracy charges for executing his First Amendment rights to assemble lawfully. He did everything in accordance with the law, and apparently the federal government has chosen to ignore that, has arrested him and several other people on conspiracy charges. This is a very significant breach, I believe, not only of the First Amendment rights of the individuals involved, but also just normal protocol involving government and to government relations. And so I would invite my colleagues to read this, make their inputs to Mr. Pedro. We may want to send a resolution of support or something in the fairly near future. Anyway, it was a very, very, as they always are. This is I call it RCRC on steroids, and that's no denigration to RCRC. RCRC is one of our best collaborative efforts that we've got. This is, the advantage of this is that we are collaborating with states that have a little bit different political cover than we do in terms of rural issues, and it's very, very valuable. And I have been told that this is the proper way to get this information out to my colleagues. So that's my report.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hamvelt?
No report.
Oh, I like it. County Council?
Just briefly, Carlin Drivdahl spent the last few weeks working on the Tuolumne Transit RFP and draft agreement, working with CRA staff on some CEQA issues, and then went to court with Debbie for the per safety side fund validation, which was signed last week. Chris Schmidt attended the Environmental Crimes Conference. He's worked on several discovery issues for the Gleason lawsuit, which is related to elections. Prepared a brief in a juvenile matter. Cody's continuing to learn juvenile dependency law. And then for me, I drafted a trial brief for dependency matter. I drafted that MOU, which your board saw earlier today, with ATCAR for the emergency water provisions, and I actually went ahead and forwarded it to another county because they requested it, so it does feel good to be leading the state in that regard. And then I worked on some various HR matters. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just a couple things I want to report on. October 9th, I attended the ACCA meeting for, as an alternate for Supervisor Rotifer, and just wanted to acknowledge that they honored the 50-year anniversary of Head Start, and also acknowledge that our region received the highest scores in the Head Start program. And that's a great accomplishment. We had a report from First Five today, and that Head Start is certainly one of the programs that is supported widely in this county, and very, very successful for the children in our county. And then lastly, last night at the City of Sonora Council meeting, they voted to send a letter to Senator Berryhill and Assemblyman Bigelow requesting introduction of urgency legislation to move $22,712 for the AB 900 Phase 1 program to the AB 900 Phase 2 program for in support of our jail project, and I want to thank them for that. I'm sorry, million. Yes.
Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you. Clerk?
Nothing to report, thank you.
Supervisor Gray?
Yeah, short report here. Last week, on the 15th, I attended a meeting with a group from the Little House. It's the senior center in Groveland, and they're working on a program called Village on the Hill, and it's a aging in place program. I would suggest that people take a look at the Little House webpage for the information on that program. It's pretty exciting, and I believe they will get it done. Secondly, we at the Columbia County Economic Development Authority, we will be reviewing the finalist for the seat that is available. We'll be doing that at our November meeting. And also on the 17th, I attended a dinner for the Realty Group in Groveland. I want to recognize Realtor Dave Lint, who sponsors a golf tournament every year, and Mr. Lint is responsible for collecting about $50,000 in the last 10 years that has been given to the schools in that district, and that's my report.
I'll just mention one item, and that's, I know the board's been interested, individuals have asked. There are grants that are coming up with application deadlines next month for fire prevention activities. The chiefs, a lot of the chiefs have been busy, imagine that, with fire season, so they've been busy. They got together last week, and they were looking at the possibility of having a unified application, countywide application, but they decided that they wanted to go ahead and put in individual yet complementary applications, because who knows, maybe we can, if we put in several bites at the apple, we'll get several things. As far as, and this is things like helping with defensible space, going back and doing maintenance on fuel breaks, things like that, helping with some of the communities that have limited access, in and out of subdivisions and so forth, and trying to prioritize some clearing in those subdivisions. There's been discussion of trying to prioritize defensible space clearing for the elderly and low income and things like that. I've asked our chiefs for county fire to be sure to have that on the November, what we're going to be applying for on your November 4 agenda for your board's consideration. That's it.
All right. I guess we have time. Closed session, yeah.
Okay, first I would like to announce that the agenda that you guys have is not the one that was posted and put on Granicus. I made a correction and I passed out the wrong one. So the one I'm reading is the correct one that was posted on Granicus and outside the front of the building. And also I was informed that the labor negotiation for the title of, not labor negotiation, but the public employee performance evaluation for Craig Pedro has been taken off, so I will not be reading that as well. So we're going to go with closed session, public employee evaluation, performance evaluation, Authority Government Code Section 54957B1, title County Council, and conference with labor negotiators Craig Pedro and Friend, Authority Government Code Section 54957.6, and that's in-home supportive services and Deputy Sheriff's Association.
Okay. Do we expect anything to report? No? Okay, at this time we'll take public comment.
My name is Susan Lipscomb. I'm an in-home supported services provider. I would like to remind the board that the burden of a raise will not come out of Tuolumne County alone, that there are state and federal monies available to help us with our pay. And as any large project, if everybody does their part, then the project gets done without being a burden on anybody. So I'm encouraging the board to do their part in this issue and pick it up and make it so it's not hard on anybody. Thank you.
I'm Michael Patterson. I'm an in-home supportive service provider. November is Home Care Provider Appreciation Month. And on the 18th at the Jamestown Community Hall from 5 to 7, we're going to be having an event. If the board members would like to attend, we would like to encourage you to come. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Any other public comment? Okay, at this time we'll recess to closed session. Okay. Where's Randy? We don't need him, do we? I'll say it again. We'll give him a minute. Ready?
Consideration of accepting the Tuolumne County Consideration of authorizing the installation of the Walk of Fame kiosk in Roca Park in Jamestown and approving the design of the kiosk, which is proposed to be 9 foot by 6 inches high with 3 sides, each 3 feet in width.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Bev Shane, Community Resources Director. I'm very happy to present the Walk of Fame kiosk project proposed for Roca Park to you this morning. For many years, I have worked with the Jamestown community on many projects to improve that community, and this is just one more in that long list of projects that has come from the community's efforts and that the county's been able to assist. As you are aware, we have been working on the Jamestown Sidewalks project for some time. Your board has approved the plans for that project, and the project is currently out for a second bid go-round. The bids close on October 23rd, so at that time we will be reviewing them and coming back to your board to award a contract for that project. That project consists of sidewalk, curb, and gutter on Willow Street, Saco Street, and also Sierra Avenue. It also includes pedestrian-activated flashing crosswalks, bus turnouts, and bus shelters. So we are very happy to see that project progress, and that is funded with federal dollars. The Jamestown community, several leaders in that community, have been working with our engineering staff to enhance the Jamestown Sidewalk project by creating a Walk of Fame. The Walk of Fame will feature 17-inch bronze medallions, which you saw earlier during your break, that will be inserted into the concrete as we construct the Jamestown Sidewalks project. Initially, there will be 30 medallions installed, with the potential of 60 more to be added at a later date. The community worked with our engineering staff to design the sidewalk in such a way is that we planned ahead for the future medallions so that it won't require ripping up big stretches of sidewalk. We'll have already planned for the future installation. In addition to the Walk of Fame and the medallions, the community leaders have come forth with a proposal to install a kiosk in Roca Park. It will be located in the northeast corner of the park, and the purpose is to describe the Walk of Fame. The kiosk will be 9.5 feet tall and will have 3 sides to it. Each side will be approximately 3 feet wide. All sides will feature a picture of Sierra Engine number 3, which is a movie star in itself and one of the other prides of our county. On one side of the kiosk will list the movies that will be installed in Phase 1 of the Walk of Fame. It will also feature a map that will direct visitors to the Walk of Fame itself. Another side of the kiosk will describe the Hollywood era of Tuolumne County, and the third side will include stills from the movies and television shows that have been filmed in our county. Next to the kiosk, the community is proposing to install one of the bronze medallions, and that one will honor Huell Hauser, who hosted California Gold on PBS for 18 seasons. Roca Park, as you know, is a county-owned facility, so you have the decision-making authority to decide whether or not you want to authorize the installation of the kiosk. The park is also located within the Jamestown Historic District and the Jamestown Design Review Area. Pursuant to the County Ordinance Code, a project that is proposed on county property and is in our historic district is referred to the Historic Preservation Review Commission for consideration. On October 6th, the Historic Preservation Review Commission reviewed this proposal and recommended approval of the installation of the kiosk as presented. There are many people from the Jamestown community who've been involved in planning this project, and they would like to address you at this time.
Thank you. Is there any questions? Let's take public comment. Invite.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, board members. Jim O'Neill, I'm chair of the Walk of Fame Committee. This is, I guess, my second project that I've done in Jamestown Historic District. The jail was the first one. This one, however, is a little more comprehensive in that it's more of an artistic endeavor, as well as trying to let the community and the people that live in it, what are the essential things that make this community tick. And when we were thinking about the project, we thought, well, why don't we do something that enhances the culture and history in Tuolumne County? And movie making in this county, at one time, we were the back lot to MGM. So we thought, this is the way we're going to go. And with all the things that were swirling around us, with the closing of Railtown and the issues related to Roca Park, we thought this would be a great way to hook up Jamestown and Railtown at the hip. And this was an original project that was with the Jamestown Area Planning Commission, but when they were disbanded, we decided, the promotion club decided to take it on as a project for them, and so that's where we are today. We have had meetings just about every other week for the last 2 years to develop this project. A lot of angst, a lot of discussion, a lot of things have gone into it, but in the end, you had an opportunity to see what the medallion looked like, and I think our efforts have been rewarded. Do you have any questions?
I'd just like to congratulate you. I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. It's nice to see the community come together and dream up wonderful things like this and, you know, follow it through when it, you know, takes time and there's obstacles and all kinds of things that could keep you from getting to where you are. But you guys are here, and I just think it's great. So,
Well, I appreciate that. The committee is just a wonderful collection of people that really want to make things happen. So we have persevered through a lot of issues and hurdles to make this come about, and most of them are here today, and they'll want to talk and address you, so I'll let them do what they want to say.
thank you, and thanks for being here.
Mr. Chairman, Board of Supervisors, Mr. Pedro, Ms. Carrillo, and Ms. Jamar. I'm Charlotte Haig, and I'd like to give you a little different take on it. About 20 years ago, Dick Pland and I were talking about how could we provide a link between Railtown and Jamestown Main Street. It's taken that long, but it took Jim O'Neill before we could get this going. He has stayed with this through all kinds of obstacles, and his perseverance I would like to be recognized. And he and Mick Grimes, I want you to realize we are not in a good economic situation, and these two went out and sold those medallions and raised over $30,000 in a bad economy. And they are phenomenal. Daryl has a love for the railroad. You can just hear it in his heart. And Nancy is so delighted. I'm so sorry she's retiring, because this link of Jamestown Main Street, our community, all we have to offer, and Railtown, and all Railtown is doing to enhance what they offer, it's like destination marketing. We are doing economic development, because you will see us again. We have other projects, it seems like. Well, we do this one, but then, you know, we need to do this one, and then, oh, we could do that one. And Jim and I would like to stop, but there's always that one more. And Daryl, I'm sorry, Jim Lays is a magician with a computer, and he's the one that designed our medallion. And I would like to recognize him. Judy Grossman is amazing. She is truly an artist. Whatever she does is total quality. And we'll be back with her, too. And Kim has been so supportive. She knew where the vendors were. And Jerry Tannhauser, is that the way you pronounce it? I've never seen a purchasing agent that could ferret out the very best vendor and quality. So we were so blessed with the people that we had together. But I truly want to recognize Duke and Blossom. This would not have happened without them. And talk about going the extra mile. We are so appreciative to them. And again, I would like to recognize all Bev has done for Jamestown for so many years. Even though we don't have a planning commission, if we have a question, we can call Bev, and she helps us. So thank you very much, and thank you for your support.
Thank you, Chairman and the board. Good to see you all again. It's been a while since I've stood here, and glad to be back to say how proud we all are of the work that you're helping with this project. The relationship that I have, Mick Grimes is my name, is that I'm a member of the Board of Directors of the California State Railroad Museum Foundation. And that foundation supports not only the big museum in Sacramento, but also Railtown. This became a joint effort of where we felt that we could work with Railtown and the foundation and you guys and pull this off and have this beautiful connection between Railtown and Jamestown and increase that enhancement of visitors between the two areas. So it's with my great amount of appreciation that I address you, and thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and all parties who've helped make this possible. I'm just going to briefly say that it's a natural connection, Nancy Sykes, Tuolumne County Visitors Bureau, and Film Commission. It's just a natural connection that we would love and support a project like this for obvious reasons. It's not just a wonderful thing for the community, but it enhances all those things that we promote, from cultural heritage tourism to our film commission, to a tourist attraction that I know is going to be phenomenal. So thank you all for your support, Bev. Thank you. Thank everyone on the committee, and I'm very happy to be working with Mick Grimes on the California State Railroad Museum Foundation. They are very supportive of this project and our community and, of course, Railtown. And thank you all.
Thank you.
Kim Baker, Park Superintendent at Railtown, 1897 State Historic Park. And I just was very appreciative and excited about this project. There was a time when a quarter of the people living in Jamestown had a direct connection to the railroad. Today, those connections are harder to make because we have a lot less staff. And as a state park, we attract a lot of tourists, and Jamestown does as well. So this really helps us to make that direct connection for the tourist economy. And if it wasn't for this community and this kind of effort, the place wouldn't be a state park today. And it's part of a bigger movement towards getting our National Historic Landmark status, and our State Historic Landmarks plaque will be right at the end of the Walk of Fame. So we're very appreciative and fortunate in state parks to have such a great partnership with the community, and this group as a whole is just emblematic of that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Duke York, Deputy Director of Tuolumne County Roads Division. I'm not going to talk about it from the perspective as an engineer. I'm going to talk about it as a resident of Jamestown. I've lived in Jamestown for over 30 years, and way back in 1984, Merle Simmons, my neighbor, and I circulated a petition to encourage the construction of sidewalks, and at that time, it was just to put it on a list for consideration of future funding. And my twins at that point were in stroller, and there was no place to take them. We wanted to get to Jamestown School. And then we got that petition. We got it put on the list. And then we built the first phase of that sidewalk when Mark Houghton was here. And now we're getting ready to do the next phase, and this connectivity that will benefit the entire town of Jamestown by connecting Main Street with Railtown is just the next logical step in a forward progress. To think that we planted this seed that became a sidewalk is just very pleasing. And from the engineering standpoint, we talk about this bigger project. You've already participated in that project when you approved a priority for doing undergrounding in the power. That will become a key component as Jamestown moves forward with this bigger picture of improvements in and around the entire site of Jamestown. So again, thank you for your leadership, and thank you for supporting this project.
Thanks, Duke. Any other public comment? I'm sure Supervisor Rodefer would love to.
Yeah, I would really love to talk on this one. First of all, I don't think that we as a board or the community as a whole can thank the real key players in this enough. What this has the potential to mean to the community of Jamestown and the broader community of Tuolumne County. Because one of the things that I'm really believe in is that people don't come to Tuolumne County to go to one thing. People come to Tuolumne County because of all the things that we have to offer. And anything that enhances one part of the county ripples through the entire county. So we can't thank you all enough for the time and dedication that you put into this. I think it's really important that this is to understand that this is a great example of a broad partnership, a partnership involving the community and the community leaders of Jamestown, a partnership involving the state with the state parks and the Railroad Museum, a partnership with our travel industry, a partnership with the people of the community and also the county government. So I think it really demonstrates what can be accomplished when the right people come together and focus on they imagine something, they focus on the goal, and they don't get bogged down by the obstacles. They just work through them. And I think that you all had a vision starting out. I think if somebody had, on a piece of butcher paper, had gotten there and started listing all the obstacles, that you may or may not have gone down that path. But the fact of the matter is, nobody listed those. What they saw, what you all saw, was the benefit at the end of the game, and we're getting to the end of the game. And I'm really excited, and I will be very happy to make the motion. I'm really excited to have an opportunity for us as a board to make one more enabling step on this path. So again, thank you on behalf of all of Tuolumne County. Thank you on behalf of the Jamestown community for everything you all have done, and that includes all the partners, our staff included, but also the community leaders and the state. So thank you very much.
Is there a second?
I'll be glad to second. I want to say that the plaque there, the medallion you showed us, is absolutely stunning.
Yep.
I congratulate you all. It's marvelous. I'm anxious to know when I get to walk the walk. Because that's really the culmination. And so anyway, my congratulations to all of you. I think it's absolutely marvelous what you've made happen thus far. So I'm pleased to second your motion.
Yeah, just to be formal, I move that we authorize the installation of the Walk of Fame kiosk in Roca Park in Jamestown and approve the design of the kiosk based on findings 1 through 4.
Second.
Can I say something real quick? I just applaud and commend all of you because it is a great example of what a partnership should look like. Fantastic product, and it is not going to be just an asset for Jamestown, but it really is going to be an asset for the entire county. And thank you for all your hard work.
I just want to add one other thing, maybe a couple other things, but the partnerships do work when you have the right people as partners, and I think in this particular project you really did, and it's going to be an outstanding thing to watch grow, because I know this is kind of like the beginning in a sense. But if Supervisor Plan is listening, I want to tell him that it's going to get done. I mean, we had a conversation before he left that he wanted to get it done before he left, but I assured him that his board would support him all the way through. So, Dick, it's getting done. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, well, at this time, I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. Thank you again. Okay, at this time, we will, actually, before I do, I just wanted to announce that there was nothing to report from closed session. And with that, we will recess to lunch, be back for our 1:30 appointment.
Can we make an announcement about the equalization?
Not until 1:30, because of the appointment, and Ken wants to. Yep. Good afternoon. Hope everybody had a good lunch. We're going to get back to order here. Could the clerk please read our second 1:30? We're going to take that one first. And actually, before I do, I will recess as the Board of Supervisors, reconvene as the Board of Equalization.
And this is a hearing for application for change assessment number 1, 2000, actually it's 2012, 13-14 for the Mountain Springs Development LLC.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the board, Mr. Chairman. Well, at the last minute, I met yesterday with Mr. Daters of Mountain Springs Development Company, and he also sent an email to the board and to the board clerk, and I believe the board members also received a copy of that, telling them that we had reached an agreement as to the valuation of it. However, formally, we do not have a written stipulation to present to you today, as this just happened yesterday afternoon. So I propose to bring that stipulation back to the Board of Equalization on November 4th, if we can get Mr. Daters to sign it in time to get it on the agenda. So you're not going to be able to have a hearing today.
Okay. Any questions? I guess we don't need any action, so we'll look forward to hearing about it in November, I guess, huh?
Right.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yep. So we will recess as the Board of Equalization, reconvene as the Board of Supervisors, and if the clerk could read the first 1:30, I would appreciate it very much.
Consideration of accepting the Tuolumne County Behavioral Health Advisory Board Annual Report for fiscal year 2013-14.
All right.
Good afternoon. My name is Rita Austin. I'm the Director of the Behavioral Health Department, and I'm very pleased to come before you this morning and introduce to the public and board the Behavioral Health Advisory Board for Tuolumne County. Chairperson Terry Easley will be presenting to you this afternoon, and I'll be on the switch. So
All right.
if the flipping happens wrong,
It's all you.
on me. Terry?
Thank you, Rita.
Actually, she's supposed to flip when I flip. Okay, thank you very much. I do appreciate you hearing us again this year. My name is Terry Easley. I am the chairman of the Tuolumne County Behavioral Health Advisory Board. And I'd like to introduce a few of the members that are here. We have Lyle McPeters, who's up in the front row. Lyle is a consumer, a member of National Alliance on Mental Illness, and a participant in the Community Care Collaborative, which is helping us redesign how health care is provided in the county. Thank you for being here, Lyle. And then we have behind Lyle, we have Marcia Watts, who is a family member. She is a past president of NAMI. Next to her, we have Loretta. Loretta is a consumer on the board of directors for NAMI, and she's a big advocate of the Enrichment Center. And then, and just coming in the door is Willow Thorpe, who is with the Center for a Nonviolent Community and a former employee of the Behavioral Health Department. We're very happy to have her there. We also have one regular attendee who attends all of our meetings, and she's with ISIS, Arlene Garland. And Arlene is back there. So I appreciate all the members of the board who joined us today, and I look forward to presenting on their behalf. Okay, why are we here? Well, the Welfare and Institutions Code requires us to come here every year, and we have to have a minimum of 5 members. Last year we had 5 members. This year I'm very proud to say we've got 9 members, very active. The board is rebuilding. We are increasing our linkages with the community, having better representation than we've had. And I'm very excited to have such a strong board with me, working with me on this. Sherry Brennan is a member of the board, and she is a faithful attendee and provides a great input and a lot of support. We thank her very much. At least 50% of the individuals have to be consumers and family members. I am, in addition to Marcia, I am also a family member. So it is important that we're representing the people who we serve and the families that we serve. We review contracts, we work with the public hearings, we do some monitoring, we encourage community involvement, and we are making this annual report to the Board of Supervisors. Outpatient services is what people traditionally believe and understand about the behavioral health department, but a lot of people don't understand it's an integration of behavioral health and drug and alcohol services. Those are very much hand in hand. They're finding more and more, and they are best treated together. The target population is Medi-Cal beneficiaries, uninsured individuals. That's getting lower, thank goodness. And but you have to meet a specific criteria. The county provides crisis services, adult services, children's services. One of my favorite is the peer recovery programs. It's rather interesting how many people are served. Almost 1 in 20 people in Tuolumne County is served by the Behavioral Health Department. Almost 5%. A total of 2,199 people were served in the year 2013. It's an invisible community. It's an invisible need. And each of those 2,199 people received an average of 17 services. So some of them may have only gotten 1 or 2. Some of them may have had more extensive services based on the need. But it is a very large amount of people served for the resources they have. And those are only the ones on Medicare or Medi-Cal and the indigent. Mental illness is a much bigger problem than 1 in 20. Almost 1 in 4 individuals in the United States deals with severe mental illness on an annual basis. There's over 1% of the population in the U.S. that's schizophrenic, over 2.5% that are bipolar, over 6.5% that have major depression. So over 10% of the United States population suffers with serious mental illness. And this is a problem that the Behavioral Health Department can only serve a piece of, but they do that well. Let's go to peer services. This is one of the services that I'm really proud of. We have a number of people, both Loretta and Lyle, who are here today, and they help provide those peer services. They have weekly peer groups. They have socialization activities. They have basic access for computers, laundry, showers. And these people are not necessarily part of that 2,199. You don't have to sign in to go to the peer. You don't have to sign in to go to one of the self-help groups, to one of the, to come in to shower. But it's a way to get people with mental health needs engaged. It's a way to connect to them. If we've got a shower that they need, maybe after a couple showers they'll feel more comfortable coming in for help. And so it's an outstanding program, the peer services. And but it's above and beyond the therapeutic services we were just talking about, where we have services for crisis and so many other things. And that's an important portion of the component, because the best person to help you, family members and people who've been there. Those are the ones that are going to make the difference for you. The next thing I'd like to talk a little bit about is inpatient and residential services. What I'm trying to show here is we've had a trend of lowering the numbers of people in locked facilities. people think you lock up the crazies, right? Not the best thing to do. It's not the best for us. It costs you guys as the Board of Supervisors a ton of money. It's not the best thing for the families who want to be with their family members, and it's not the best thing for the individual who needs services. Sometimes it's the intensive care they do require. But the best thing is to use that money that's very expensive, spent out of county, on local services to avoid those intensive care treatments. And everybody's better off because we have more money locally to support people in the community and less money going out of county. One of the issues the Behavioral Health Board has been talking about and is very aware of and working with is the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. It is changing the way mental health services are approached in this county and throughout the nation. People are starting to see it's one mind, one body. Rita has an excellent outreach to the community. One mind, one body. You can't be healthy in your mind if you're not healthy in your body, and vice versa. It is all in the same. And the coordinated care. So more people are getting eligible for mental health services, but we're also integrating it with the health care. And that's what the Community Care Collaborative that Lyle works with. This is a new program where we're working closely with healthcare providers so that when you need intensive care and intensive treatment, mental health services can provide it. When you need just maintenance, you go to your regular doctor. And the doctor may call the specialist once in a while, but we're looking at ways to integrate, to provide services to more people for the same amount of money. If you've been diagnosed with diabetes, you may go to an endocrinologist for a few months. But you go back to your general doctor. They prescribe whatever medications you need. They monitor. If there's a problem, you get back into the specialist. Mental health services needs to be seen by the community as a specialist services within the healthcare spectrum. It is just like an endocrinologist or an obstetrician or anything else. It's a specialty. And we need to have it all together. Over the last year, the Behavioral Health Board has received monthly reports. And actually, as a result of last year's presentation to this board, we have a newsletter. And I hope you all are able to see some of the things going on. And thank you for asking for that. Because I think we've really improved in our communication with the community because you cared enough to ask for more information. And the department has been excellent at bringing that to you. We will continue looking at the Affordable Care Act, and we are very happy to have purchased a second property for permanent housing for people in the community. Out of all the things that a person with mental illness needs to get well, first they have to have a safe place to stay. You can't get well under a bridge. You can't get well camping out. You need to have some security in where you're going to stay. And the housing program is really important component, and I'm really proud of the county for stepping up to the plate and making sure that housing is a part of our behavioral health services. People can transition out of the supported housing programs and into the community, but they need that first step. And we're very proud that we have a second unit over the last year. Our future challenges. This is where Terry's had a soapbox at more than one of our meetings. I'm very concerned about the retention and the recruitment of staff. I have seen key staff members leaving, and leaving for salaries, better opportunities. They come in, they get trained, they get their license, and they find they can drive an hour away for 30% more money, 40% more money. It's a real critical need And as a advocate and as a advisory board, that's my big concern. We need to continue training our behavioral health workforce and integrating it with healthcare. Those are real important things. We need to explore telemedicine, other ways to deliver services. We've got to be able to do it on the lowest nickel we can because there's not enough nickels to go around. And we are looking forward to the implementation of drug Medi-Cal, and that's adding another layer of watching. I've been doing grants and federal and state program management for 30 years. I've never seen anybody overseeing as much as behavioral health. Yeah, it is, and I've never seen any place else where they will disallow. Oh, 2 years ago you didn't make the right note in that chart, so we're not going to pay for that visit. That's horrid. And if you have the new employees, the training employees, they're going to make those errors. They're going to forget to make that notation. And 2 and 3 years down the line, they're going to say, oh, that visit doesn't count. We're not going to reimburse you for that. You need to give it back. That is one of the reasons it's so critical that we have a good, stable workforce that can do the job right under very complex and very demanding requirements. Because if you don't have good staff, you end up giving money back. And that's a real problem. And we talked about the audits and all of that. The rural counties are particularly challenged by this situation because the big counties have more money. And they are taking our good people. And you got to have the people to do the job. We encourage the board to continue succession planning. We will continue looking at reports, monitoring trends, and communicating with you our concerns. We want to continue working with technology, finding new ways to do things cheaper, to do them better. And we want to continue to build and support on peer services. Sometimes these peer services can actually be the first employment opportunity for somebody on the road to recovery. They may be able to work for 10 or 15 hours a week, helping other people. And it's so much more effective to have somebody offering a helping hand than your highly paid professionals that are overworked. They have the patience, they have the understanding. And we strongly support the continuation and the development and utilization of the peer program. Now, that's basically the end of my formal presentation. Do we have any questions?
Just no questions, just a comment. And you have it up on the board. It's a thank you. Thank you for all the work that you guys do, because it is important. And I have seen some real success from what you guys are doing. So thank you.
I'd echo that. I'll just say I think it takes a special kind of person to work in that field, and we really appreciate that. The other question that I have that's kind of related to that comment is you talk about retention being an issue for salary or whatever, but how much burnout do you have in that field?
She would know better than I, but I do know one of the key employees that they've had for a long time. We kept getting reports. He's retiring. Oh, well, he's staying because we can't.
Okay.
But they had to split it into 2 jobs and still had trouble filling it. But I'm sure Rita has a lot more information about that.
Go ahead, Rita.
Hi. And I can only speak somewhat candidly, is that I think that if burnout occurs, it's going to happen within the first 4 to 5 years. And those of us who are getting a little bit longer in the tooth is that I think we tend to find the reward in that and learn good self-care It is not a field for everyone, certainly. And I do believe, though, that once people reach a certain mark, like any of our fields, is that there's a way to better sustain yourself from the rewards of that process. Burnout happens, I think it happens earlier when you're not as prepared for the field with the intensity of the service needs.
Well, again, all the more thank you. And I think it really does talk to the dedication of the people that are in it. Thank you.
If I may speak to the board just briefly, because I know Terry was working very hard to get through. I do need to make a correction for the public. Is that in terms of our numbers, because crisis services are included in that, our ongoing services for persons who receive continued services and meet our criteria are those persons who meet that target population. Those numbers included people who also may have had private insurance and other types of resources in addition, just in the crisis number. So there is just a very small adjustment to that, because nobody is restricted or is there any barrier, nor is there any barrier for people who are in emergency services. We respond to everybody in that situation. And our peer services are also not restrictive in any way, shape, or form. So anybody is welcome to use any of the services available there.
Thank you, Rita. I always find she knows what she's talking about. Yes, Randy.
Well, this is a nice report, and I appreciate that, but you didn't really tell it. Two things. One, first of all, let me start with, you said a second facility. Is that a reference to Cabrini House?
Yes.
Well, then the correction is we were operating Cabrini House. We already had two facilities. We just own them both.
Yeah, we now own two.
And
You
that's a
took the
cost
risk to
savings
buy
thing,
it.
and that's a good thing. Okay,
Yes.
but the truth is, we didn't really add anything in terms of services.
Yeah. But you went through a lot of work to buy it.
Well, I understand that. I understand that. But, you know.
Yeah, you were operating it, and it was a sad day, the short period it was closed before you guys stepped up to the plate and did that.
It helped secure it for the future.
The good news is it's secured for a long time, and that's a good thing. But what I would like to hear from you, that I didn't see you tell us, is what are the needs to accomplish the goals you really have within Tuolumne County? I mean, this is nice about what you're doing, but I want to know where you're going and what isn't getting done and what our issues are, because I think that's what we need to know. I mean, I like feeling good, okay, but I want to know what I
Well-
shouldn't feel so good about because it isn't getting done.
What's not getting done is in my case, when my daughter got sick, she was still in college, she was private pay insurance, and there's not a single psychiatrist in this county that could serve her. There are no services for the private pay. You only are able to serve, and by law required to serve, the Medi-Cal and the indigent. There's an awful lot of families in this county that have tremendous needs that are not being met and cannot be met by the Behavioral Health Department because you don't have the money to do it. And besides, if they did take private pay, the restrictions, that the hobbles that they operate under because of all these rules and regulations, you couldn't afford to provide it in a cost-effective manner to the general public. We have a tremendous shortage of treatment. When I was teaching family-to-family classes over and over again, since mental illness is so often as a young adult, teenager, early 20s onset, they're still on their family's insurance, and their families can't find help in this county. And sometimes they can't find help in Modesto and or Stockton. I've heard of people going further than that, and I've heard people waiting for 2 months for their first psychiatrist appointment. Now, that's not what you guys can fix, but that's a societal problem that needs to be addressed. As far as what we need more of here is, what do we need, Rita? Ask a question. No, people,
I don't know that necessarily that immediate staffing expansion is an issue, but I think that we are well on the road to addressing some of the issues that have been a real challenge this past year. We were not able to recruit and any of this necessary supervisory staff to support many of the new staff that we have. As of last Monday, we started one of our supervisors, and next Monday we will be starting another. Both of them have an extensive history and background in behavioral health. We do have a capacity issue right now that we are not meeting some of the criteria that that are standards of care. People should be getting in more rapidly into our system. We have had a difficulty with bringing in retaining staff, longer training periods, because these are people who are going to be making assessments and evaluations for long-term treatment of people, and they need to be much more concise. They're going to take a little longer to do that. That means that there's a slower entry into our system. We have one psychiatrist. We could benefit. We do not have a children's psychiatrist in our system. There is certainly quite a few concerns around the inability to have a specialist for either children's psychiatry or older adult. Some of what was addressed in this was the issue of telepsychiatry. We are hoping, looking into the future, we are able to utilize telepsychiatry to bring in the specialty that we wouldn't otherwise be able to provide, that would be reasonable, cost-effective, and meet the specialty needs for the amount of time that we need it, rather than full-time service. So with the new supervisors in, and we have new staff now in terms of our quality management related to quality improvement, that is enhancing our ability to pass future audits with a better outcome than we have had in the past number of years. So we are not where I would like to see us be. I don't believe that the board is feeling like everything is rosy by any means, but we do have plans for moving ahead and addressing those issues.
Yeah. One of the questions we frequently say is, somebody comes in today, they present at a crisis location, they are eligible for our services. How long does it take to see a psychiatrist? We go from mediocre to horrible. What's our standard? 30 days?
Generally, in order to see a psychiatrist, in order to assure you meet criteria, you do have to go through a full intake process with one of the licensed or license-eligible staff. Right now, there are delays in that, not related to crisis. With a crisis, we do have a rapid response that we can get somebody in as quickly as 5 days. Our standard response, however, is probably around 8 weeks right now. So in an emergency situation, we are certainly able to accommodate that. But because of the capacity issues and the demands, we've made some previous reports to the board to indicate that the Affordable Health Care Act has increased our numbers of persons who are entitled to our service system. So we have a very high intake, along with an existing ongoing population that requires repeated visits at every 3 to 4 months. And so by the time you have an intake appointment, you've gone through that process, and then to the psychiatrist, it's quite a ways out. In the interim, we do provide various staff supports with case management to coordinate with primary care physicians and other options.
Yeah, that's a real issue, but it is, you have to have the assessment done. It has to be overviewed by a licensed person, and we just lost our licensed supervisor, so we hired 2, but it's just, yeah, and then it takes a while to get in. It's resources. Yes, Evan? Or
can I follow up one more? This is what I want to hear, or don't want to hear, but I need to hear. So I don't know how to describe ideal world. You can do that for me offline. So if an ideal world's 100%, 100, on the scale of 1 to 100, how are we really doing?
About 70%.
70%. A
Better
low
than
C.
some of the others.
Okay, 75, mid-C.
C.
Well, and I believe
Look,
that.
I'm not
Okay, I
saying,
wanted
I'm trying to figure out
I wanted
what.
to be honest with that. However,
That's what I expect, by
do
the way.
also want to say that of late, we have had excellent response and recruitment. We have some excellent new staff coming in, and we have some excellent supervisors. And if you ask me back in 3 months, I'm going to give you at least a middle B.
I like hearing that. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Any other Sherry?
Just a quick comment, too, because I think a lot of these challenges, as Rita pointed out, are a result of the Affordable Care Act. And so we're just finishing the first year of that. And I actually want to commend you guys. I think, like your concept of the telemedicine, you have a deficiency and you're looking for an opportunity on how you're going to provide those unique services to folks when we can't have a full-time staff member in Tuolumne County, but maybe there are shared services amongst a number of the rural counties. So I applaud that kind of thinking and finding solutions, there are a lot of challenges. It is difficult, but this board does a lot of work, and I want to thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you, and I look forward to our board being to you next year, hopefully having an 85, 90%. That would be
All right.
wonderful.
95.
95.
I'll
She's
go
going to
for the
be
gold. Go all the
24/7
way.
training these people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Well, with that, I believe
I'd move that we approve the Tuolumne County Behavioral Health Advisory Board Annual Report for the fiscal year 2013-14.
any public comment on the motion? Bring it back to the board, call for the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. And with that, now I will adjourn our meeting.